Good morning to each and everyone, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and especially to our instructor, Ma'am Irene Kandungan, Ma'am. So now, before we will start, let me introduce my group member first. I am Miss Norhaina H. Alang, Raima Ulangkaya, Nikki Awal, Rasmia Marot, Andang Norhamina, and also Jehan Kami. So now, our topic for today is all about instructional planning cycle. But before we will start, allow me to introduce our objective. In this lesson, you will be able to identify the instructional planning cycle, explain how the planning cycle plays in the planning for instruction, and explore implementation techniques at each stage of the cycle. Now, let us continue to our discussion for today. So, what is the instructional planning? Instructional planning cycle is the process of instructional delivering instruction, assigning, learning, and reflecting on teaching that continuously repeats.
Hey everyone, I'm your teacher, Ulangkaya Nuraima A from BEED-3, Block 303. So now, this is the continuation of the instructional planning recycle. So the first is learning objectives. At this stage, the teacher is compelled to ask, what should I teach my learners? This can be the skills, knowledge, or values found in the curriculum document. This can also be a big concept or ideas that needs to be learned or mastered by the learners. It is here that the teacher decides the content of the lesson. The most important parts of the objective is the ideality, extently, what students should be able to do to meet them. As a future educators, always remember that making learning objective is there are three domains. So the first, number one is cognitive, which is the knowledge of the student that can apply the main topic. Then the second one is effective, which is emotion of the student. Then the third one is psychomotor, or what are the skills of the student, or what kinds of skills of the student activities. The second one is assessment strategies. After the teacher decide on the objective, he or she now needs to identify how can the learners demonstrate their understanding and or achievement or the learning objectives. So after the teacher is decide objective, he or she now needs to identify how can the learners demonstrate the understanding of the learning of the objective. So in this method, the teacher will ask to the student to help a form of the quiz, write, or the reflection summaries, and to help other effective assessment that can help the student to development of the skills.
Next slide is instructional activities. At this stage, the teacher now begins to think about how to teach her learners. Here, the teacher will now plan for the teaching strategies and learning activities that will be used in the classroom. With the objectives set and the assessment strategies is placed, the teachers would now need to think about the learning experience information. So now, the instructional materials and activities are essential tools in learning every subject in the school curriculum. They word symbols and ideas and ways that develop their abilities in learning, listening, solving, viewing, thinking, speaking, and etc. Reflection. After this implementation of the instructional plan, the teacher then reflect about his/her teaching. At this stage, the teacher reviews what has happened at the implementation of the plan. This involves the reaction of the learners with the strategies, the results of the assessment, and the learners who struggled with the activities or assessment. The teacher can use the data from this observation to make adjustments and improve the next instructional plan.
Hello everyone, I am Rasmia Dimarot, BEED-3. The next lesson is all about the instructional model for teaching English. But before we will start, allow me introduce our objective. In this lesson, you will be able to identify various instructional planning models used in teaching English, compare instructional planning models, identify and adapt a model in designing one's own instructional planning.
So now let us continue to our discussion about the instructional planning models for teaching English. The instructional planning models help define the elements and activities that would guide the development of the instructional. The following models are just some of the models that could provide the major components in instructional planning. ADAI is an acronym. That right, ADAI is an acronym meaning each letter stands for a different phase for creating an effective learning course. ADAI stands for analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. Before we will start developing your learning course to ADAI model state, you should first analyze the current situation. Basically, get a clear picture of where everything is currently to understand the gaps you need to fill. A quality analysis helps identify learning goals and objectives. It also helps gather information about what your audience already know and what they will still need to learn. How do you perform a good analysis? Ask good questions: who, what, why, where, when, and how. A few suggestion questions to ask are: who are the learners and what are the characteristics? What learning outcomes are expected? What are the concentrates that exist? What materials are available? How much time is available?
The design phase details with creating an outline of the instruction. This is where the learning objective, learning content, strategy to be used, activities, materials, assessment, and others media needed are put in phase. The design phase is logical and sequential. It should consider how the lesson will be delivered to the learners. Ang design ay ito yung ginagamit ng mga guro sa kanilang lesson plan para maganda tignan ng mga bata, at yan yung ginagamit ng mga guro upang magkuha nila ang strategy ng mga bata. Development. The development phase is where activities, materials, media, and other content necessary to deliver the instruction based on the design phase are put together. There are teachers needed to take into consideration the method of delivery determined by the design pass. Sa develop naman, diyan tinitignan ng guro kung na-develop ba nila ang lesson na tinuturo sa kanila. Na-develop ba ng mga bata. Sa implementation, during the implementation pass, the instruction is given to the learners and the teacher should take some time to observe how the learners react to the instruction provided to them. The teacher should also need to ensure that all equipment and materials necessary to deliver the lesson are all complete and working, like computers, storage device, internet connection, or the number of copies of materials. Pag sinabi natin implementation, ito ay nagpapatupad sa mga batas na mag-aaral. So, dito naman tayo sa instruction, ito ay pagtuturo ay ibibigay sa mga mag-aaral at dapat maglaan ng ilang oras upang sa pag-feedback ng mag-aaral sa kanilang guro kung paano nila ituro sa kanilang mga estudyante. And
Evaluation. In the evaluation space, the teachers look into the learners' scores, results, and the notes that were taken during the implementation phase. The teachers can analyze this result and make appropriate adjustment in the next season. Some questions and could be answered in this space are: evaluation provides a systematic method to study a program, practice, intervention, or initiative to understand how well it achieved its goals.
Instructional problem. Determine the specific goals and identify two instructional uses that could arise. Instructional problem for which is instructional is determined to be solution and a difficulty or obstacle that hinder student as they attempt to achieve a specific learning outcomes. And learner characteristic. Identify the traits and characteristics of learners that should be taken into consideration in the planning process. Learning characteristic is a concept that revolves around how the student learning experience is influenced by personal, social, cognitive, and academic elements. Analysis. Make course content clear and analyze that purpose task component is relation to the goals and purpose of the course. Task analysis is the systematic student of how users complete tasks to achieve their goals. This knowledge ensures products and services are designed to efficiently and appropriately support those goals.
This is a continuation of the Lesson 7 Instructional Planning Models for Teaching English. So, the key model has 9 elements. Instructional objective. Define the instructional objectives and the desired learning outcome. So, it means learning objective should be used to guide students as the work or lesson through the course and to assist their learning progress. Next, content sequencing. Ensure the instructional content are structured sequentially and logically. So, ibig sabihin, How discuss your lesson to instructure sequentially and logically. Next, instructional strategies. Design the instructional strategies in such a way that individual learners would be able learn to content and attend the learning outcome. How would you discuss your topic could be able learn to content and attend the learning outcome. Next, designing the message. Plan the instructional message and the appropriate mode of delivery. So, how can you deliver the message to appropriate mode of delivery?
By the way, I'm Jehandi Kamit and this is a continuation of Lesson 7, ARCS Model. The ARCS model is developed by John Keller in the 1980s. The model unique feature is that it focuses more on the motivation of the learners, ensuring that they are kept engaged during instruction, rather than focusing on step 2 take in the development of the instructional plan. The model provides components. The ARCS model ay dinivelop ni John Keller noong 1980s. Ang kakaibang feature nito ay mas focus sa motivation ng mga mag-aaral para siguraduhin na ang mag-aaral ay nakatutok or nakarelate during instruction and class session kaysa mag-focus doon sa step to take in the development of the instructional plan. The model provides components. ARCS has 4 components. The number 1 is attention. This refers to the interest of the learners. This is a critical part of the model as it is the initial hook of the learner attention. Attention refers to interest of the learners. Sa pagtuturo, ito talaga yung napaka-importante makuha ng guro ang interest, attention ng kanyang mag-aaral para mas mabilis, madaling magkaintindihan at maipantindi sa kanila. Ano ang ginagawa ng teacher para makuha ang interest ng mga bata? Dapat may motivation or i-motivate sila sa pamamagitan ng singing rhymes, dancing pictures, puzzles using real things or objects. The number 2, ARCS model. Relevance. The component refers to the usefulness of the learning content so that the learners could create a connection between it and the real world. Number 2. Relevance refers to the usefulness of learning content so that learners could create or connect it in the world. So, dapat yung learning content nung tinuturo ay makabuluhan o useful sa ating mag-aaral para yung pinag-aaralan ay maikonnect nila sa kanilang buhay o sa totoong buhay. The number 3 ARCS model is confidence. This is a component develops the expectation of success and progress among the learners and at the same time gives the learners the opportunity to control their learning processes. This is important of the learners will have a rough estimation of their probability of success in the conduct of instruction. Confidence develops the expectation of success and progress among learners. So, Bilang isang mag-aaral, dapat meron talaga tayong confidence. Dapat may tiwala sa sarili sa kakayahan dahil kadalasan kapag wala tayong tiwala sa sarili, walang tiwala ang mag-aaral sa kanyang sarili o sa kanyang kakayahan, wala din siyang lakas na loob para makihalubilo o sumagot, tumaas ng kamay sa klase. Kaya lagi nating tandaan, kapag may tiwala sa sarili, lahat ng bagay ay ating makakaya. Marami ding mag-aaral ang mahiyain, kaya dapat magtanim ng tiwala sa sarili na kaya natin ito. The number 4 ARCS model. Satisfaction, as there is direct correlation between motivation and satisfaction. The learner should have a sense of success and fulfillment after achieving their learning goals and objectives during the learning process. So, the satisfaction is direct to correlation, motivation, and satisfaction. Dito natin makikita kung ang learning goals at ang objective ng inyong guro tinuro ay nag-success o ma-achieve ng bata kapag naintindihan at nasagot ng mag-aaral ang lesson. Doon na pumasok si satisfaction. That's all.
I am Andang Nurhamina A. Lesson 8. Thematic Approach to Instructional Planning. Objective. In this lesson, you will be able to identify the step to implement thematic approach to planning. Design an instructional plan using the thematic approach and understand the value of the use of thematic approach to instructional planning. So, thematic approach. Thematic approach comes from this idea or speaking a theme, idea, or subject that all compass all the different subjects. Thematic approach is a thinking idea attempt on wielding and putting together. Thematic is a cross-curriculum. Curriculum means the subject skill do in the learning in the English in know reading or writing their skill are needed and history. And science and society studies, social studies, geography, and all another subject. Thematic approach to instruction. As the name suggests, in the selections and highlight of a them through instruction. Planning in this manner is often times interdisciplinary, talking advantage of the relationship of knowledge across multiple academic disciplines and a common occurrence and situation in everyday life. Them can be derived from various sources and can be topic or be in the forms of overarching question. This approach is closely related to interdisciplinary instruction and project-based and phenomenon-based learning. It is a powerful tool that enables the learning to be more natural and as an alternative to the fragmented organization of classroom. So, always remember, our thematic approach is about doing activities or lesson and all subjects on intertwined together. Do our focuses in one activity, but the truth is we are all ready to learn our subject, and so let's get. First, number 1, choosing a theme.
Choosing a them, this is where the teacher or even the learners decide what would be the focus them of the unit or lesson. Like example, and their subject which is technology and livelihood program. The topic going to discuss at perform is all about cooking in our them. Number 2, integrating the them. So, this can be small concepts such as a family, climate, the beach, then to larger, more integrated concepts such as the community, atmosphere, and ecosystem. Integrating the them with the existing curriculum. Upon choosing the them, the teacher needs to organize the learning objective of the curriculum around the them. So, integrating them with the existing curriculum is to address a topic or them through the license of several different subjects are as. This would involve determining meaning which concept from the learning areas could supplement the them. For instance, a story from around which a them of community is derived could be supplemented by social studies, values, education, and mathematics. Designing instructional plan. Sa designing instructional plans process consists of determining meaning the needs of the learning. Designing instructional plan. Sa designing instructional plans process consists of determining meaning the needs of the learning, defining the end goals and objective of instructional designing and planning assessment tasks. So as you have learned in the previous lesson, instructional planning involves several elements. At this stage, thematic instructional planning usually involves making adjustment in these elements, especially making appropriate choices of learning strategies, activities, experience, and learning materials related to them. Some questions to ponder at the stage called B. First, which areas of spoken and writing vocabulary can I and my learner work for spelling within this them? 2. Which areas of grammar could we accommodate with this them? What genre of writing could my learners write using the them as the starting point? In what way can the learn and I make them have a visual impact in our class? Encouraging presentation. In thematic instruction is often project or them. It is frequently involved to student going to collecting presentation to the rest of the community. For example, of this activity is the down and draw, which the student we can draw and they present their output in the class. So we are going to present their work. As the thematic approach in a gender toward holistic and context-oriented, it is much more meaningful to the learners if they could be given the opportunity to present their work. The thematic approach to instructional planning poses advantage as an instructional approach to teach English in the elementary years, other than presenting the language learning. in a much larger context where learner can see the knowledge they learn in the larger, more relevant context. They can also see the relationship of this concept across time, place, and discipline. The approach can also be used with another pedagogy and standard used by various disciplines such as a place-based education, project-based learning, and cooperative learning. And that's all. Thank you.